various like musicians, like influencers, artists, trying to like get people to like try out our platform and launch like an NFT collection with us, essentially, and like get artists from like Ethereum onboarded to launch with us. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. And I guess in my old job, like in construction, I was kind of doing like a bit of sales, like pre-construction sales is kind of what you call that. So that transferred over nicely. Um, but yeah, it's interesting. Went from like a old like family construction business to like a crypto tech startup, which is like moving at like 250 miles an hour. I probably like on any given week, it's like my old job was I'd go in the office, which is cool, but I work remote, like probably worked like 12 hours a day, 5 hours a day on the weekends, so like easily a 70-hour week every week. But I think what's really cool about like working for a crypto startup like this is everybody's so into it. You can just like feel the energy, feel that like people usually in the crypto space, if they're starting something like this, they're super passionate, so it kind of rubs off on you. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now.
That lag though.
Sorry, it's lagging a little bit for us. Is Robbie frozen for anyone else?
Yeah, he's frozen for all of us. Hopefully, if that's not working out, he can just, yeah, like, there you go.
Yeah, so guys, you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi's been screwed up all day, so it's been hard to work from home. But yeah, I'm just on my phone now, so I should still be able to chat here. What was the last thing I said before I cut out?
Construction sales?
Basically, how you transition.
How everyone's into it.
Oh yeah, and you're talking about like the culture of working there, how everyone's super engaged.
Yeah. So right. Yeah. So like I guess everyone is very engaged. I don't know if you heard, but I said I'm like working like a lot. Probably like at least double the amount of time I put into school. But yeah, like everyone in the crypto space, I just feel like is very motivated, and like especially like in the startup environment, it's interesting working for like a long established construction company that kind of has like your managers like golfing on Fridays, and now it's like these people, like everyone's working like sun up, sundown through the weekends, just very passionate about what they're doing. And I think that's kind of like a lot of the crypto space kind of just feels like that, even like on Twitter. If you guys are on Twitter, you're interested in like different cryptos, NFTs, maybe all that kind of that whole realm. Like Twitter's a great place to learn more about it. A lot of like thought leaders in crypto, a lot of like these crypto founders are all like very involved on Twitter. So when I was learning about like blockchain, like different cryptos, NFTs in general, I felt that having like being on Twitter and involved there was very helpful. It's like kind of like funny as that sounds, but Twitter can be like super useful for learning about that type of stuff, making connections in the space as well. But yeah, that's kind of like I guess a summary of like where I came from, where I'm at now. I like to kind of like open it up more maybe. If you guys like have questions for me and to like direct the conversation to like stuff you want to hear me talk about, maybe. But yeah.
Definitely. I'll keep my mic on so anyone in person.
Hey, Robbie,
Hold on.
I had a question for you.
So is that Max? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up? So do you like NFTs more or DeFi?
Yeah, I like both. I'm like DeFi wise, I was kind of like down that rabbit hole for a bit, like a few months ago, but to be honest with you, I like don't know a ton about DeFi. I'm like invested in like a few different like DeFi type protocols, but I'd say for the most part, I'm more into NFTs now, just especially too because I'm like working at a company where it's like all I'm doing every day is like kind of in that realm. But definitely interested in all aspects of crypto. I want to get more into DeFi. I think you were pretty into that stuff, right? So I remember from like talking to Sophia a bit, so I'd like to learn more. If you want to send me some stuff I can read about.
Hey Robbie.
What's up?
So I know you're saying you got huge amounts of work going on every day, and it's probably moving a million miles an hour, but what would you say in general, like, you said there's 30 some odd employees, what's like the general atmosphere of the company when you go in for a day of work?
Yeah. So I guess it is interesting because like it is fully remote. So like it's weird. I don't know. I didn't really expect to enjoy remote work too much because like I kind of like going into the office and just like I don't know, kind of like switches up a bit rather than just like working from my room all the time, which is interesting because like at Cal Poly I would do a lot of work just like from my dorm room and kind of got used to working. So the transition wasn't actually too bad. But in terms of like the atmosphere, it's I don't know, it's very cool. Like there's a lot of tools now. Like we use Facebook Meta's it's called Workplace, which is kind of like Slack on steroids. It's basically like you have different like it's almost like Facebook but like for work. So you have like different groups related to like whether it's like products, like competitors, engineering, analytics, like all this different stuff. And in these groups you can post about different things like add hashtags to like kind of like track different like features or issues. And then everyone like has visibility, can like comment and react on it. So like in a way like these new like remote work tools actually allow like the working atmosphere to feel like very connected. And I'd say that just the fact that everyone's like always online, like in like on the chats basically like throughout the day. Everyone's in different time zones too, which is interesting. Like I'm probably one of the only people on the PSD. I'm like one of two people on the West Coast. A bunch of people are in like Australia, bunch of people on the East Coast, some people in like Hong Kong. But everyone's kind of like very united around the same goal of just like growing our market share in like the Solana ecosystem. So it's like even though I was going into work at my old job, like now it's the atmosphere is so much better. Everyone's so much more motivated, I would say. Which my old job is kind of like a unique situation. If you're working in tech or like a startup in general, I'm pretty sure this is kind of how it would be. But everyone feels very united around the same goal, which is super cool. See your hand up, but if you're on mute, Sophia.
Outside of work, how do you choose like what NFT projects to invest in?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty interesting. There's like kind of a lot of factors, and like kind of what. So I'll speak to that, but like kind of what made me like initially like reduce my skepticism about NFTs is like probably 99% of the projects out right now are gonna like be worthless in a couple of years. Like the space is exploding, and there's like a select few projects that are like gonna still be around and thrive. So I kind of like at first when I first got into it, I got like pretty lucky, I'd say, and I kind of like invested in like some like the first like mover NFTs on Solana, which like just because they were first movers, like they happened to do pretty well. But like now like times like have changed a lot with NFTs. So we probably list like on our marketplace we list like 400 projects a day. So just like with that amount of volume, it's like obviously a lot of them are gonna be losers, but like a certain small few will like win like very like hugely. And kind of I guess what like I'd look for. The biggest thing about NFTs is it's all like based around community, right? Like it's interesting. Like I met these like co-founders who like founded this company that went from like a $0 valuation to like a $200 million valuation in 4 months from like NFTs, which is just like insane. the biggest part about like this whole thing. So it's like it kind of connects people like from maybe around the world, or like in very different places, maybe who English isn't even their first language. And it kind of unites them just like around like the NFT itself. Maybe it's not the art, maybe it's like the founders. Like that's another big thing. Like the founders, the team that like builds these projects and like wants to see them thrive long term. If it's like whether it's them hosting like cool events, them like having a treasury wallet where like royalties from like the secondary sales can be like voted on and used for the community, like innovative stuff like that. That like you want like a team that has like either a proven track record of like doing other stuff in like the crypto space, or just like is very clearly motivated. And the best way, like the number one thing I think is like the community, and you can see a lot of that on Twitter, like how engaged people are with these projects before they launch, or even after they launch. If just like a lot of people are like interacting on the posts, there's a lot of people in the Discords, like Discords have like productive conversation. And obviously the art's a big part too. Like if the art's super cool and it has that community aspect, then I think you can usually consider it a win. But yeah, like, you can kind of like if you get like I said earlier, like getting into Twitter and just like diving deep into that. If you like buy some NFTs and kind of like watch how the value like progresses, whether it goes like way up or way down, you'll kind of learn a lot about how the whole ecosystem works and like what's valued, I guess. If that makes sense.
So as a recent college graduate working in a startup in a very new industry, are you and like your other people you work with, are you guys paid in a yearly annual income, or is it more day to day depending on how the market does, or like how does it work like that?
Yeah, so like it's a good question. It's actually funny. Like when I had like how it works is I had a work trial mid-December. So during that work trial, like it basically was just like confirming that I would like enjoy the environment, that I wanted to work there, all that. But at that time, they were paying everyone. Like everyone in the company was getting paid in like USDC coin, which is like kind of like I was like that sounds problematic because obviously like transferring that stuff, you'll get fees for exchanges. It's like not super clean. Like tax implications is just a bit of a nightmare. But the company's financials, like this is like not typical of a startup, and it's probably just like the crypto space. Who knows if this continues? Like it's popping off right now, so there's a lot of eyes on it, a lot of money going into it. So like we've been like pretty like heavily cash flow positive, like from the like start, which like usually startups aren't like that. So they've since like got incorporated, set up like this thing. I think with Gusto is the company, but I get paid every 2 weeks, and now it goes like straight to my bank account. So there's not really any like concern there. Obviously, like usually if you don't start up, like it's gonna be pretty risky. Like getting paid is like maybe they'll do it monthly, maybe they'll like even do it like every 2 months. But I'm kind of in like a unique situation where even though it started recently, like cash flow's good, so we pretty much get paid, and I have like a fair amount of like certainty that I'll keep getting paid throughout the year, even if like stuff tanks a lot, just because we've been like growing a lot and like saving up money. So yeah.
I have a question.
Yep.
So, do you have any advice for us to like get further down the rabbit hole of like searching for crypto jobs?
Yeah. So I don't know if you know the website like AngelList, but that's kind of just like a startup job board. That's probably the best place to look. Like when I kind of like met these people on Twitter, and like honestly, a lot of these like startups, and like even like more established crypto companies, like tweet out stuff like, "Hey, we're hiring. Like, look at this link," or like, "Look here on our website. Like, fill out a job app." So Twitter is like a really good spot just because the crypto space is like so involved on Twitter. But yeah, AngelList is another really good one. When I like initially applied to my job, I actually like went through there, but a ton of startups, both crypto and just like tech in general, are all on there. So that's a really good place to look.
What about in terms of like interviewing and stuff and like showing employers skills? Like what kind of skills do these crypto startups look for?
Yeah, so I guess like I didn't go into like an engineering role, obviously, like I'm doing like sales and like partnerships type stuff. So in terms of like qualifications and more like testing for those abilities, I can't really speak to, but what I can speak to and like what I was told like after I joined, kind of that like helped a lot, and that people like what they want to see is they just want to see that you're like super like interested and like passionate about this stuff. Like I kind of conveyed to them like when I was at my old job, like right when they're like most of the time like right after I got home from work, I'd spend a ton of time like just researching like on Twitter, like interacting at least for like NFT space, like interacting with these communities, just like trying to understand it better. And both and like crypto in general, I really like was fascinated by it. Wanted to like learn as much as I could. And I think if you convey like that sense of like passion for the space, like combined with a sense of like why you really want to join that company and why you think they're going to do big things, like I think that's huge. Especially in the crypto space, like it's just so new that if you are like super into this stuff and you want to see it grow, that'll like get you pretty far in terms of like an employer like thinking they might want to hire you.
Respect.
That answers your question.
Yeah, that was a great answer. Does anyone else here have questions?
Are you working on any projects on the side?
So like actually like kind of nothing like too crazy. I like one of my friends that I know actually from Cal Poly, he's in finance now, but he's also like being an NFT degenerate with me. And he's like been researching a bunch of this stuff, so he's starting like a little project that I'm kind of like helping him out with some stuff there. Also just like right now, I spend pretty much like all day just like researching, looking at these projects, like seeing good candidates that we want to like launch stuff with on our website. So yeah, I kind of like have like a decent eye for that kind of stuff, so I'm kind of just giving them some advice and telling them like stuff I think you should look at. But yeah.
Robbie, I have a question.
Yep.
So your job is kind of partnerships and outreach in a sense?
Right.
So are you kind of like having meetings with or researching artists that you think could stand the brand, and then maybe coming up with ideas as well, and then trying to see if they can kind of to do these kind of things? And these types of artists, is it like everything from musical to physical art, or yeah, just a little bit more detail on that would be great.
For sure, yeah. So yeah, like definitely looking at artists like both like musical, whether it's like generative artists on like crypto. Like there's this guy who's not like a huge name, but Pindar Van Arman on Ethereum. He like programs his robotic arms to like draw these paintings. There's like a Vice video about him. It's pretty sick. But he's been like getting into the like NFT space recently. So yeah, a lot of it is like outreach, just like talking to people, scheduling calls about how we like our marketplace, like in our socials on Twitter and like, our website. We have like such a like broad reach now in the Solana space. Just trying to like come together with them and talk about how like if they do something with us, it could like have a lot of impact on like the NFT community, and especially like photographers. Like we have some Sotheby's photographers who like auctioned off pieces there like coming on. So kind of just like getting like more exposure to not only just like pitch lore type projects and like sort of traditional NFTs, but like people who are like actually making waves in like the art space in general. Trying to get them on board. That's kind of like the main thing I'm focusing on. Another like group of people who I'm like starting to talk to is like kind of like the influencer, like musician, like YouTube creator group, and there's a lot of like what a lot of these people are trying to do, and some of these projects like may not do well long term, but it's just about like how well the founder, like creator, can kind of like keep iterating and providing value to their community from like holding these things. But like if a YouTuber wants to release something, maybe like holders can like appear in their video if they have like a limited collection, or they have like this time set aside every week where their fans can like talk to them and just like chat about like crypto in general. But kind of like connecting with those types of people, and like a lot of them are actually reaching out to us, like the bigger YouTube names like Joe Matek. I don't know if you guys know that guy. He makes like software, like coding videos and stuff. Like he's reached out to us. He wants to do like a special thing, like a special project connecting him with his fans. You know, like the musician like Swayco. Just talked to him. He's like doing this cool like music NFT where like holders are gonna have access to like his unreleased albums like a few weeks before they drop on Spotify. So there's a lot of like unique, interesting use cases there that like we're trying to like figure out with these creators, and then also kind of like get them onboarded and like releasing stuff with us. So yeah.
So what's the investment portfolio looking like?
You don't have to answer.
The investment portfolio? I kind of broke that, is what you said.
Yeah. What are your holdings?
Dude, so I'm pretty Solana heavy right now. The whole thing I've actually started like trading like the micro caps and like smaller coins. It's pretty degenerate, but it's like kind of what I was doing for fun for a bit. So like the whole thing with that is like if Bitcoin has like an insane run up, right? Like it has like a 20% rebound over like the course of a few days, then like
Phone died.
We almost had.
It was the Bogendorf twins.
I heard all you
Oh, look at that cute little NFT.
Pension is not treating me well right now. But yeah, what I was saying is like, at least in terms of like Bitcoin, if that has a run up, like usually like it goes up 20% in like a week or two, which is what we've seen like before. And like a few weeks after that, like all these coins with smaller market caps will start pumping. So like, I've got some Solana, some AVAX, something called AR Weave, but I'm kind of holding off because I think like the market's still going down right now. So once I see like Bitcoin have a nice little rebound, I'm gonna probably like go back in, get some more of those. But yeah.
I have another question. If we were to invest in an NFT project on Twitter, do you have any suggestions, and what are some cool ones that you've seen recently?
Yeah. This is not financial advice.
Yeah.
You guys go and don't really literally. I'd say like Catalina Whale Mixer is a cool one. A bunch of like big musicians are like in that one, like Steve Aoki, Diplo. I think Jaws has some of that too. But they're hosting like real world events and like music festivals, kind of like around the States. That's their goal. So that one's pretty unique. They're doing some cool stuff. A lot of these though, like a lot of the like bigger ones that I think have like more longer term promise have like already had a run up, so they're like pretty expensive. That's one. There's this one project called like Mindfolk with this like super cool artist who's done a lot of like graffiti work, and now but he's like pretty like he's had some like articles published by him. That one's now like doing pretty well. Yeah, if you kind of look, like, honestly, like, a lot of the ones on our, like, homepage, and like, popular collections, like, a lot of those, have a lot of promise. There's one called Portals, which is, like, they're creating, like, a, kind of, like, metaverse spaces where if you, like, buy one of these NFTs, you have access to, like, create your own, like, room in this, like, city that you can, like, walk around and interact with people in. That's pretty cool. They're, like, having, like, VR integration soon, so, like, 5 years down the road, their founder's like super smart too. That one be pretty big. It's called Portals, but yeah, base those are a few.
Cool. Well, if there's no questions, thank you so much for
Yeah, I'm in the Discord now, so like I'm on Discord all the time. You can just like reach out to me there. That works. And yeah, happy to answer questions.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Later.
Bye.
Peace.